host, Ronald M. Welcome to our Champions League Match Day 2 review show. Yes, we'll be looking at the results of the matches that have played so far for Match Day 2. Looking at how they fared, especially how the big teams played, especially how the teams from EPL played. As you can see, I'm smiling. Not because Liverpool won. No. I don't care about Liverpool that much. Happy because Spurs lost. Spurs actually went to Portugal and lost the match. So yes, I'll be looking at the results for Tottenham Spurs versus Sporting, how that game played out. Looking at Liverpool versus Ajax, Bayer Leverkusen versus Atletico, Bayern Munich versus Barcelona, Olympique Marseille versus Frankfurt, and Club Brugge versus Porto. Let's just jump into the first match I wanna talk about. Yes, Sporting versus Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur are away to a Portugal side, Sporting obviously, and things didn't go according to Conte's plan. As a Chelsea fan, I'm actually happy that Spurs. I'm still sour about that 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge, and when you look at it, Spurs haven't been playing very well. This season they've done very well. They haven't lost in the league, but then they haven't been playing the best football I think they can play under Conte. As a supporter of a team which was coached by Conte, I know what Conte is capable of, and I know if he gets the best out of the Spurs players, they can be forced to be reckoned with. But then at the moment, other than the 4-1 win over Southampton, which was on the opening match of the Premier League, Spurs haven't really played well. Yes, they've been picking up points, a couple of draws and wins. If you look at their wins, it's normally 1-0 or 2-1. They haven't been playing that particularly well. They get chances and they finish them. But tonight, I think they just proved what I've always known about Conte's side and Spurs, especially a team which doesn't have a creative midfielder, if you can put it that way, which solely depends on Kane dropping deep and then spraying the balls for Son, who's somewhere off form, then Richarlison and Kuleveski. Other than that, yes, you expect Perisic to cross in the ball to try and be creative, but then they're not exactly Victor Moses and Alonso. I can't believe I'm referencing those two. Yeah, but then Spurs are a bit weird side at the moment. They're not playing the best football. They've been getting by with the results. But I think, as you know, with Conte's side, at times if they play a team which can really defend and play that low block very well, they struggle a lot because they don't have that creativeness in the team. If Kane has an offish day, they can't create anything, and it's one of the reasons I think they're suffering a lot now is somehow, someway, Son hasn't really kicked off the season. Everyone was expecting Son to just carry on with winning the Golden Boot last season. We just expected Son to carry on scoring goals for fun, but then it hasn't really worked for him. I think for me, the player of the season so far has been Richarlison, or the revelation player for them this season has been Richarlison, coming off the bench and starting. I think tonight he started the last Champions League match against Marseille. He scored 2 goals. Again, it was an unconvincing performance, but then Spurs, there's something off there, Spurs. I don't know what Conte needs to do or how he needs to tweak his tactics a bit, but then I think the 3-4-3 at the moment is not working for them. They're not clicking, and I think they're quite lucky to have, yes, it was under bad circumstances, but when the games were postponed midweek. But I think if you think about it, I don't think they would have loved to play that Manchester City side right now, because yes, they could have been deadly on a counter, but like I said, Son looks off formish. I don't think it would have worked out for them. So yeah, they did lose the match 2-0, and they conceded, I think it was on the 89th or 90th minute, which is so unlike Antonio Conte's side. They never do that at most of the time. I remember from Chelsea, I don't remember a match when Conte was at Chelsea where you considered late goals, and they considered 2 late goals. Emerson Royal, in my WhatsApp group messages, football groups that I'm part of, has been a question mark of a player. I'm not totally convinced that he is Spurs level. Yes, I know Conte turned Victor Moses to a Premier League winning player, but I'm not convinced with Emerson Royal. I am really not convinced. I think that's an area with a question mark there that they have to look at it. And I don't see Conte deviating from his favored 3 at the back or 5 at the back formation. So it'll be quite interesting to see after the international break how Spurs, even before the international break, how they play against Leicester this weekend. Yes, Leicester have been poor, but I think Brendan Rodgers will know that if you try and defend and sit a bit deep and hit them on the counter with Harvey Barnes and Jamie Vardy, they can get at Spurs. I think they can hit Spurs. If Leicester can get Maddison on the ball to create and release the fast-paced players, I think they can get at Spurs. So it'll be quite interesting to see if Spurs does bounce back this weekend, or maybe Conte's regime is already under threat. I wish they fall apart. Obviously, I'm a Chelsea fan. I hope they fall apart, but then we'll see how it goes this weekend. And then the next match I want to talk about, Barcelona versus Bayern Munich versus Barcelona. You know, it's the hope that kills you with Barcelona. We have Xavi, club legend, coaching the team. We have Lewandowski. We put in Rafinha. We have quality players now, but then somehow, some way, you find Alonso starting in a back four. When I saw that lineup, honestly, for me, I was just unimpressed, and I somehow had a feeling that things are not going to be okay at Barcelona for the game against Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich always has a number. I'm just happy today it was a 2-0, not another weird cricket score or basketball score where you concede 7 goals or 8 goals or 5 goals. They kept it respective. But we did play well. I did see like parts of the football. We did create chances. We missed some clear-cut chances for me. 1v1 chances. Lewandowski chances. I think it was also paid with chances. Dembele played well. But I think we're just a bit unlucky. But then again, you know, our defense, I wasn't very much impressed with the Barcelona's defense. And Bayern are looking solid now. I think, although they're also not the Bayern that I fear the most. So that's why I was a bit disappointed when I saw starting 11. But they're not the Bayern that I fear the most. I know Lewandowski left and Mane, yes, he is playing, but then it hasn't really clicked for him, you know, if you get what I'm saying. So it's interesting to see how they'll fare again in the Champions League after the international break, just before the World Cup, if Bayern will be back to blowing teams away or not. And then we move on to Liverpool. After the trapping at Naples by Napoli, I feared for Liverpool today. I thought Ajax would just turn up and also get a positive result for them. And I watched, I think, about 85 minutes of this match. Liverpool weren't at their best. They did play good football here and there, but then they weren't their Liverpool-blowing teams at Anfield best. So I think for this game, it was more important for them to get a win other than a good performance, just to stabilize and gain 3 points on the Champions League. That was key for them. And they managed to do that through goals from Salah. And Salah finally scored. So that's, the Egyptian king. Although he didn't play particularly well, I think he's still being pushed too wide. But then the Pharaoh did get a goal. And also Matip, good to see African connection, they're getting goals. Matip also got a goal, I think, the dying embers of the game to make it 2-1. But then, if I'm Klopp or if I'm Liverpool fan, I would be, I guess not Klopp per se, but then Liverpool fans should be worried by that Trent's flank, the way teams target that area, and the way they get so much joy. I mean, even the goal came from that flank. The way teams get so much joy from that flank, it should be a worry now. If you remember versus Napoli, it was the same thing. Versus, even in the Champions League final versus Madrid, it was the same flank. Versus Fulham, same flank. Versus Manchester United, same flank. So that for me is now becoming, I think, a problem on that flank. They need to try and get it right. Yes, Matip played very well, but then I think the mid also on that flank is Salah up front, Harvey Elliott, midfielder, Trent, fullback. It's just a weak area for Liverpool, because when you think about it, there's no player in that flank other than Matip, of course. There's no player in that channel of the field that can actually defend, or I can say enjoys defending or going back with the work rate. And Harvey Elliott is still a young guy, I think it's 20 or so. So you can't expect him to be switched on always on going on your defending, you know. But if I'm a Liverpool fan, I think I should be worried. I think Leicester will try to also exploit that area because they can do get joy from the side. And I think Ajax scored, I think they had 3 chances on target, 3 chances at goal or 3 shots on target, and they scored 1 brilliant goal. I think that was beautiful constructed, and the finish was just top notch. Again, I'll blame defending there from Trent to Van Dijk. How come Van Dijk never slides? Like, I don't remember a match where Van Dijk like really put his spot on the line for a ball. Maybe I'm being too critical, but then I think that goal, he could have done a bit more just to put the striker off. But it's Van Dijk. I mean, they claim he's the best defender in the world, so we'll go with it. But then Liverpool did get a good positive result for them. And I think now they play, I think, is it Celtic or Rangers between the two? I'm not quite sure. Back to back before they play Napoli and then Ajax, I think. Yeah, so I think the 3 points on the board is quite important for them, because if they'd lost or if they'd drawn this match, then it would have been a challenge for them to actually try and top the group, because in Champions League you have to top your group to avoid the big boys in the round of 16. And then we'll look at Porto. I didn't watch this game, but then Porto got annihilated by Club Brugge. I didn't expect this result. I think in my mind I always have this Porto, Benfica, Sporting, the top 3 of Portugal, of Premier League and Portugal. You always expect them to do well per se against other teams in the Champions League. So I was a bit surprised when I saw the result saying Porto lost 4-0. And Inter Milan, I think it was a fairly easy for the game for them. They managed to get a win, which was in 2-0. Then Bayer Leverkusen versus Atletico Madrid. Atletico, I think it's high time. Honestly, for me, it's high time Diego Simeone leaves the team. I think he's run his course. I think it's almost 10 seasons now, if I'm not mistaken, or if not more. But I think it's close to 10 seasons. He's been at the rim. Has taken them to, I think, 2 Champions League finals. He has won La Liga, I think, twice. He's won Europa League. I think it's high time he moves on, because that team has talent, but they just don't perform anymore. They're no longer the same Atletico I know. I don't even enjoy watching them defend now, because there's just so much talent, so much expensive talent, expensive assembled squad, which is set up to defend. I think the players deserve more than that. Even last game week of the Champions League, they did win 2-1, but then they scored like in the 90th minute and 96th minute. It was a crazy match, crazy ending to the match. I think Diego Simeone, if he doesn't change his tactics, maybe they should look at replacing him, try and get a younger blood with fresh ideas to play attractive football. I mean, if they do buy players, they do buy quality players, but then all the players they have to defend and work hard. Yes, every player has to defend for any team, but then they're just so defensive minded. It's difficult to watch them anymore. I used to enjoy, I have a confession, I used to enjoy watching Atletico defend, like especially when they play in my Barcelona or they play at Real Madrid or any other team. I love the dedication they have for defending, but then you'd want them, if you're playing a team like Leverkusen, to actually have a goal, make the game 50-50, because you can't tell me that Atletico Madrid don't have enough talent to beat Bayer Leverkusen or to play football that will hurt Bayer Leverkusen other than just defending. So it's a sore spot for me watching Atletico play now. I think they have to try and improve. And then we go to Frankfurt versus Marseille. I didn't watch this game. I was watching, I think it played simultaneously, I think with the Liverpool match, I'm not sure anymore. But then Frankfurt did win, and honestly I like the way Frankfurt play football. I enjoy watching them play football. I remember last season in the Europa League, they knocked out Barcelona, knocked out West Ham. It was really fun watching them play football. I think they play that positive German football. They're comfortable, all their players are comfortable on the ball, and they really move the ball well. And I thought Marseille, with Bailly going there, somehow you're always trying to support the players, especially African players. But then Bailly going there, I thought they would do well in the Champions League. It's back-to-back losses for them. They lost against Tottenham Spurs. They've lost against Marseille now. So I think Marseille, they might be looking at Europa League football right here, right now, unless if they manage to pick themselves up and have a go in the Champions League again. And then I think so they have to try and pick themselves and go again. Overall, I think it has been a good start to match day 2. We've seen some, not the best football we've seen. Like the Spurs match wasn't that much fun. The Liverpool match was quite average. The Barcelona match was the one which I think almost lived up to the billing. But then we haven't seen the best football as yet. I think tomorrow, obviously, City playing, Madrid playing, we might see a bit of flair. And obviously Chelsea playing. Hopefully, we will get a positive result. And we will see some form of identity to what Potter is trying to do. But I think other than anything else, we need that positive result. We need to get a win. We can't afford to be 0 points from 2 games in the Champions League. So much pressure. And obviously, to a bad vibe around the club with players going on international duty. So hopefully Chelsea will play very well tomorrow. And we will get a result above anything else. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the review for the first matches of match day 2 of Champions League. We'll come back tomorrow with another review after the results. I'm looking forward to seeing Chelsea play, City play, and Real Madrid play, the holders. Because Real Madrid, and as much as I don't like them, they are entertaining when it comes to the Champions League. They never do things the easy way. They rarely do things the easy way. So it'll be quite interesting to see how they play tomorrow. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe on the video. Like and subscribe. Those two go hand in hand, hand in glove, hand in hand, whichever you like. And please do leave a comment. I appreciate reading the comments so far. And don't forget to tell your friends to check out the channel and support, and do get in contact if you want to contribute in any way with your football views. This is your host, Ronald M. Cheers. Bye.